get close to the mic. I don't. All right. My name is Valerie Murdoch, and I would like to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Potsdam. Welcome to all of those who are with us on Zoom, visiting our service, and all of those who might be visiting our service online in the future. With all the choices we have for our Sunday mornings, I am so glad that you choose to be with us. This morning, as usual, we have music played by the very lovely Carly Shell, and a shout out to Emily Karlsmauer on our tech today. Thank you. For over 50 years, the UUFP has been a liberal religious voice in the Pottstown area. As UUs, we believe that facts and faith are not an either-or proposition. We believe that we can and should honor the wisdom of the past, even as we acknowledge that the past does not have all the answers, and that one of the ways we honor the past is by learning from it rather than repeating it. We believe that there are still plenty of questions to explore. Perhaps most importantly, we believe that no one is outside the circle of justice and compassion. We hope that your spirit, your heart, and your mind are refreshed as we commit ourselves once again to our 7 guiding principles, which we might not be calling that for much longer. We come together this Sunday morning and every Sunday morning, not because we share a creed, but because we share a promise to support one another on our spiritual journeys. Our services are different each week, but the loving kindness we offer one another in this community remains the same. So whoever you are, wherever you are, and whomever you love, we are glad to have you with us today. Okay. And now we have a moment for announcements. If you have an announcement to share, please come forward. Use one of the microphones.
Start. On Saturday, the 17th of August at Ironstone Park, there's 2 pavilions. It'll be clear which one we're at. We are offering a ritual to support murdered and missing Indigenous women. Please wear red. We show up at 9 a.m., bring food to share, bring drums, bring something to sit on. And but we would love to see you, whomever you are, if you wish to lend energy to this particular cause, we welcome you. That again, that's Saturday, August the 17th at 9 a.m. at Ironstone Park in Boyertown, and I hope to see you there. Thank you.
Hi everybody. So as most of you guys know, my name's Megan. I've been doing RE for about 1.5 years. And I'm coming to formally tell you that today is actually going to be my last night. I had something come up and I will be moving out of state. So I really want to thank everybody for being so amazing, so welcoming. I've really enjoyed being part of your community and how supportive you guys have been of me and Haley as we've been here. So I really thank you for everything, and I will miss you guys, but I promise I will visit when I'm in town.
Hi everyone, my name is Sheila, and I'm happy to report that I just finished my first Izzy charity doll. And it's at my skill level, which is just a basic stockinette stitch. So it's not that, it wasn't that complicated for me. So just letting you know, we have Lori who does the lessons on the 3rd Sundays of the month. And if you're all welcome to join if you're interested in making an Izzy charity doll. They're very cute.
Anyone else? Hey, Chloe, if you would. These words are by Scott Geller. May the flame we now kindle light the path back to our center, back to that place of belonging again, to our deepest self. And may our chalice remind us that we are held and welcomed whole, without the need to hide a single piece or part of who we are. Thank you, Chloe. Lloyd, if you would.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Lloyd Angie. I have opening words from the back of the great hymnal. O spinner, weaver of our life, your loom is love. May we are gathered here to be empowered by that love. Weave new patterns of truth and justice to life that is strong, beautiful, and everlasting. How rare it is, how lovely, this fellowship of those who meet together. May we be reminded here of our highest aspirations and inspired to bring our gifts of love and service to the altar of humanity. May we know once again that we are not isolated beings, but connected in mystery and miracle to the universe, to this community, and to each other. We come together this morning to remind one another, to rest for a moment on the forming edge of our lives, to resist the headlong tumble into the next moment, until we claim for ourselves awareness and gratitude, taking the time to look into one another's faces and see their communion, the reflection of our own eyes. This house of laughter and silence, memory and hope, is hallowed by our presence together. We come to this time in this place to rediscover the wondrous gift of free religious community, to renew our faith in the holiness, goodness, and beauty of life, to reaffirm the way of the open mind and full heart, to rekindle the flame of memory and hope, and to proclaim the vision of the earth made fair with all her people. Come into this place of peace, and let its silence fill your spirit. Come into this place of memory, and let its history wander still. Come into this place of prophecy and power, and let its vision change your life.
Our opening hymn is number 123, Spirit of Life. Hello.
So today's story is Broken Crayons Still Color. Avery loved coloring. She didn't have many crayons, but yellow flamingos and green unicorns were more fun anyway. Then one day, she got a new box with tons of colors. Turquoise like the new nursery, violet red like her shoes, and cadet blue like her new house. Tomorrow, Avery would bring her new crayons in her new backpack to her new school. Suddenly, she felt flippy and fizzy and fluttery inside. When Mom called her for dinner, Avery didn't feel like eating. Would you like to say a prayer before your big day? Dad asked. No, Avery whispered, I'm too scared. You can do hard things, Dad squeezed her, even when you're scared. Later, Avery wanted to draw her first day of school outfit, but that's not what she drew. She tried to draw the school playground, but that's not what she drew either. Avery doodled and dotted and dashed until crack, the crayon broke in half. Avery grabbed another and broke it too. Crack. She grabbed another and another. Crack, crack. Avery tried to shove the pieces into the box, but that's not what happened. Rip. What have I done? Avery cried. I'm a mess, just like these crayons. When Avery's sobbing quieted, she heard a small scuffle, then a tiny voice. Avery girl, it's not nice to put people down, even yourself, right, Omar? Avery's red crayon was talking and walking, and Omar, the orange crayon, was bouncing. That's right, Ruby. Guys, don't forget about me, Beatrice, the blue crayon called. Here, let me help, Beatrice, the purple crayon said. And how about you, Grace? Thanks, Pedro. You're so sweet, Grace, the green crayon, turned to Avery. It sounds like you need help. Before Avery could reply, Omar said, Whoa, these drawings are amazing. Is tomorrow your first day of school? Grace asked. Avery sniffled, then nodded. So why are you crying, girlfriend? Ruby asked. I'm crying because Avery didn't know how to explain the flippy, flizzy, fluttery feeling. I'm a mess inside and ruined all of you. Girl, don't you know, Ruby said, we don't have to be perfect to be useful. And no mess is ever too big, Pedro added. And we're going to help you have a great year at school, Omar finished. How? Asked Avery. First things first, Ruby said, I want you to know it's okay to be upset. You're not a mess because you have messy feelings, but let's keep the big feelings from becoming big actions, Grace said. Grace told Avery to draw 2 pictures, her favorite flowers and a cake with the candles. Then she had Avery present the small flowers. Breathe in really deeply through your nose and blow out the candles. So good. Do that again. Thanks, Grace. I feel calmer, said Avery, but still messy. Let's sort that out next, said Pedro. Sometimes it helps to draw how you feel. I'm feeling creative like a balloon. You can draw an elephant when you're angry and you want to stomp things. Or on a rainy day when you're blue, Beatrice said. Avery decided she was feeling anxious, excited, and a little afraid. The next morning on the school bus, Avery wanted to sit next to someone, but that's not what she did. Avery, Pedro popped out of her backpack. Life is more fun with friends. But who would want to be my friend? Avery asked. Who wouldn't? Pedro said. You're kind and thoughtful and fun, Omar said. Draw a picture to remember what a blast you are. Most of all, Pedro added, you are brave and you can do hard things even when you're scared. Hey, Avery's dad said, all the time. Avery decided she was brave enough to make a new friend, and she knew just how to do it. Outside of school, Avery walked up to the girl from the bus. Her chest went thump, 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 but she said, Hi, I'm Avery. I drew this for you. Wow, thanks, the girl replied. I'm Jillian. Avery and Jillian hoped to sit together in class. But that's not what happened. Avery started to sniffle again. I'm sorry you're upset, Avery, Beatrice said. Instead of thinking about sad things, draw things that make you happy. When you're feeling sad and blue, there are reasons to be grateful too. Avery drew and drew and drew. The rest of the week, Avery practiced the crayons lessons. She stopped to smell the flowers and blow out the candles. She remembered that she was smart and she could do hard things. She said thank you for a rainbow and helping a hand and a box of broken crayons. On Friday, Jillian gave Avery a surprise, a crayon box. Now Avery felt flippity floppity and fizzy and fluttery inside, but for a new reason. She was happy. Ruby, Omar, Beatrice, Pedro, and Grace had a new home, and it was as beautiful as they were. After school, Avery showed Mom her box and all her drawings. Every time I got messy inside, I used my crayons, and even though they are broken, I made beautiful things. Mom smiled. My life has been messy at times too, she said, But we have to learn that we can turn our messes into masterpieces. After all, Avery said, broken crayons still color.
Good morning, my name is John Driesen. This is called a service by committee. We're all doing our parts here. Wait till you see the spread for after the service, let me tell you. So, it is time for that moment in the service where we have to come to you and ask you to help us with finance. Spirituality is wonderful, but spirituality without this building and all the things that are here, that's of our three principles, time, talent, and treasure. We need a bit of your treasure, whatever you can spare us. We are grateful, and thank you, and the baskets will be passed.
When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free.
Meditation hymn is 10:09. And the hymnals. That's not 10:09. Sorry, there it is. And it's meditation on breathing. We're going to sing this through twice. When Next hymn is number 1023 in your teal hymnals. It's called Building Bridges. We're going to try to do this in a round. So we're going to all sing it through once, and then the men are going to start, and the women are going to come in with the beginning words at the number 3. And then the men are going to catch up with us once they're finished, and we'll finish together. We'll see how it goes. It's not difficult, so we'll see how it goes. I like service by committee. There are so many good people here, and I like hearing their voices. Also, I can't read the hymnal, so having people with good eyes to read the words that I would like makes things go so much smoother. Plus, asking others to help is a skill I'm trying to nurture. But it was less stressful for me to ask Valerie to give the welcome, and John to ask for the offering, and Sarah and Floyd to read, and Chloe to light the chalice. We live in a wonderful community, and it's good to lean on our friends. So again, thank you to the committee. Today's sermon it's called Truth in the Service of Peace. First, let me introduce myself. I am Diane Awenydd-Evans. I am a 3rd degree initiate of the Assembly of the Sacred Wheel, which is a Wiccan tradition. I'm the High Priestess of Weavers of the Moonfire, which is a coven of that tradition. And I am a member of the UU Fellowship of Pottstown. Each one of those is very important to me in its own right. As a witch, we are about to celebrate one of our 8 holy days, which is called Lammas or Lunasa. It is celebrated on August 1st. It is the first harvest. And I want you to think of county fair. Like everybody brings all the stuff they've grown, and their beautiful sheep and their glorious horses and their biggest pumpkins and watermelons, you know, the whole thing. It's a gathering of community and a sharing of our harvest with each other. And a competition. Like hood races and horse races, and you know, who's got the best squash, and you know, who makes the best pie. These traditions go back hundreds of years. So our particular, you know, the United States does have its version, you know, with the county fair. In Wales, there's a bardic competition, the National Eisteddfod of Wales, that happens in August as well. It's one of the most important national events in a country that belongs to other countries. And before they start the competition, which is a competition of singing and choirs and preachers and reciting scripture, before they begin it, the gathering of bards has this beautiful sword that they partially unsheath. And on that sword are words inscribed. And those words are Awenydd-Evans. Now, I don't expect anybody here to speak Welsh. I don't speak Welsh. I just learned it because I was getting it tattooed on my arm. What that means is truth against the world. So the head bard, for lack of a better word, will call out truth against the world. And the congregation's response to that is, do you bring peace? And then he'll call out heart to heart. And their response is, again, do you bring peace? And then shout above the shouting. Do you bring peace? And only when it is established that there is peace among the gathering can they begin the competitions and the celebration. So that's where I got the title, Truth in the Service of Peace. So behind me, all of these flags have symbols or words of peace. Peace is something that we strive for as humans, as you use. It's something that we desire. But what is it? Is it lack of conflict? Is it lack of violence? Is it lack of anxiety? I would say yes, it is all of those things. And so we've got inner peace, right? Which is something that a lot of the service up till now was talking about. It's definitely something that we seek as individuals. We don't want to be walking around in fear and anxiety and violent feelings. We want to have peace. And we would like to have peace on a world scale, right? We would like it if there was not a war in Ukraine and one in Gaza and how many other places on the planet. We would like to have peace in this country as we head up to and after the election. There's lots of sources of conflict and anxiety but that's kind of true of life, right? I mean, we don't really get to avoid conflict, not unless we're going to go live in a hole, live in a cave as a hermit. And then we might have inner conflict, so, I don't think that's really a solution. So peace is the absence of violence. Violence is not just physical. I would propose that violence also includes words and feelings, and a hateful attitude towards others or hostility towards others. It doesn't have to, it can come out in words, not just with our fists. Conflict is when you are arguing with your spouse, your partner, your children, your parents, your sister or brother. Peace is when, or conflict happens when we are arguing with our neighbor with the Trump sign in his yard. Or not. Conflict happens even in the congregation when two people who want good for this fellowship disagree about how that's to be accomplished. There's lots of places to have conflict. There's conflict in ourselves, in our own hearts, when we want two contradictory things, right? So peace is, I would suggest, not the absence of that conflict, but peace is something that we seek and build and carry with us. We bring it. Do you bring peace? We walk beside it, holding its hand as we go through everyday life. We bring it with us. We find it inside ourselves. We find it in the quiet places. We find it in this congregation on Sunday mornings. We find it in the peace of our room or our gardens or the park or wherever you find that you can find inner peace and establish that inside you. And then you carry it with you as you go about your life, with your family, with your neighbors, with the guy at the grocery store who just very frustrating to deal with at work, coworkers or customers or whomever. We carry peace with us. We drag it along. We walk hand in hand with it. And that's wonderful. But what is the cost of peace? Is the cost of peace tolerance of oppression of others or injustice? Is the cost of peace the sacrifice of truth? And I'm not talking about inner truth, although that matters, but I'm talking about actual truth. You know, the history that we were not taught when we were in school. The history that the reality that we were not taught. The realities that we were not taught. The idea, we were taught the idea that slavery ended after the Civil War. It didn't. We were taught that injustice is a thing that other countries do. It's not. We were taught a lot of false things. And that's not a basis for truth. I mean, a basis for peace. Peace is built on truth. No matter how uncomfortable, no matter how painful, truth is necessary for there to be real peace. One of my elders, when he was trying to teach me something important, asked me if I had the choice of being truthful or kind, which would I choose? I don't believe that lying is kind. I believe that falsehood does harm, and doing harm is not kind. At the same time, truth can be painful, but I don't think that that pain is the same as harm, and I don't think that it is kind to withhold truth so that someone doesn't have to be uncomfortable. That's my opinion. But I had to think through a lot because I don't like conflict. I am a very conflict averse person. I'm not a pacifist, mind you, but I don't like confrontation. I don't like conflict. I want peace. And sometimes it's not fun and it's not comfortable to speak up and be truthful, but it's necessary for there to be true peace. Tolerance of injustice and the oppression of others or oneself is not the basis for peace. Can't have real peace if you have someone being treated wrongly, if you have people being arrested and incarcerated unfairly, if you have people being lynched, if you have people going missing and no one bothers to investigate to try to find them, when you have people being murdered and no one tries to hold anyone accountable, injustice and oppression are not the basis of peace. But I want you to ask yourself as you leave today and you go about your business through the next weeks, what price am I willing to pay for peace? What am I willing to sacrifice for peace? Or do I insist on truth and justice and liberty preceding me and and being the foundation upon which I build peace. And do I hold on to peace with an iron grip and take it with me everywhere? Because that is a choice. That is a choice that we can make. We can choose truth. We can choose justice. We can choose liberty. We can choose peace. I'm going to look at my notes, which I have to lift up to my head. Because I want to make sure I don't forget things. Oh, yeah. There is peace within. There is peace without. There is the peace that results in putting aside our differences and the peace that results in embracing them. But consider the peace that you drag with you on your daily lives to be seeds that you plant in your neighborhood, in your family, in your community, in this congregation, in this town, in this country, and in this world. Because if you plant them, they will grow. You are not responsible to make peace in the world. It's a little bit more than any one human being can do. But we can make peace in our town and in this fellowship and in our homes. And that is work worth doing. Rented mouth. So also consider, what will you sacrifice for peace? Will you sacrifice your ego? Will you sacrifice your need to be right? Sometimes we get, we can sacrifice those things without sacrificing truth, without sacrificing justice. We can sacrifice our need to be right, our egos, and back up, take a look and see that someone else's intentions are good and match our own, and let them have their way on occasion, or find a common ground. That's how you build peace. And that's my thoughts on the matter. So we are going to sing hymn number 6. And then we'll do joys and sorrows. To the part of our service where we share our joys and our sorrows, and the recording gets turned off. It early so that anything that. Go out into the world in peace, have courage, hold on to what is good. Return to no person evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted, support the weak, help the suffering, honor all beings. We extinguish the flame, but not the light of wisdom, warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and in our hands until we are together again. Thank you.